You have a child who has been struggling academically, there's a good chance that your child may be getting interventions at school, have an IEP, things like that. What signs should you look for that indicate your child's struggles are really not improving despite your efforts and the efforts of those you're working with? So here are some things to look for. One is just obviously persistence in those academic struggles. If you're not seeing improvement in the core areas that they need to improve, obviously things like reading, writing, math over time, if you're not seeing improvement in that, that can signal that the help they're getting isn't really effective. And likewise, if they're not meeting certain milestones, right? If they're not achieving academic milestones or grade level expectations despite extra help or accommodations, that would be a red flag. The other thing you can look for is just in your child, if there's a greater level of frustration or negative emotions. So, as you know, school's progressive, right? So as kids go from 3rd to 4th grade to 7th to 8th grade, the expectations increase. And if they're struggling still as expectations increase, you'll often find them being more oppositional, more negative, maybe less motivated, more, homework, frustration, and anger. That's something to look for. And then related to that would be behavioral changes, which can show up as maybe they're more anxious or maybe more stressed out. That can show up too as things like, they get consistent stomach aches or headaches, or obviously like refusing to go to school, like getting them out the door every morning can be a real challenge. So the other dynamic can be they can start to struggle socially or emotionally. So it's not uncommon, especially kids who are struggling and maybe they are able to see themselves compared to their peers where they're not performing at the same level. That can lead to some social isolation where they tend to withdraw because they now lack confidence and feel kind of different than others. And, just unmet individualized learning goals. They're not hitting the goals that are laid out in their IEP or their 504 plan. They consistently fail to meet those goals, those types of things. So if that's the case, there's several steps you can take. One is if you haven't taken the step for a full neuropsych evaluation, that can be helpful. That needs to be done by a licensed professional. LearningRx, we can do an assessment that will help you identify the root cause, like why aren't they progressing? Because often it relates to cognitive weaknesses that things like school interventions or tutoring, like those programs don't really address. And having that information can be really helpful in removing roadblocks to their progress and success.